Hi YouTube, this is Angie the Anti-Theist, and today I want to talk about Mormons and personal revelation. One thing I have to give Joseph Smith is that he put a few apologetics directly into the Book of Mormon. Maybe because he'd seen all the objections to Christianity, and he was able to come up with a few, at least, it's not like apologists ever have good answers, but they have things that can, soothe your mind for a little while. And so if you ask a Mormon, as I was doing all morning, why someone should believe in their holy book and their God and their version of reality, the answer comes that you pray and ask God to tell you. Now, if you think about the fact that most people who are Mormon were born into Mormon families, what we have here is people who are being taught from an incredibly early age that something is true. They're then asked to go pray, which means talk to yourself and think to yourself, and see if they come up with the answer that everything your parents ever told you was true or false. Everything that you've been taught systematically in Sunday school with kids' Book of Mormon and kids' Bible and songs is true or it's false. Everything everybody you know is telling you is true or it's false. Okay, that is a really hard question to answer honestly with all those factors. When you're going to be committing social suicide, if the answer is no. When you know you're supposed to come up with an answer because everybody around you has, and what's more, they've all come up with the same answer. They've all had the same personal revelation that yes, it's true. You're going to be more inclined to, pick up the yesy feeling in your head and interpret that one as God. Because of course, there is no way that an outsider can look at personal revelation and tell where it came from. I remember how painful that sensation was for me as a Christian. I have obsessive compulsive disorder, which is a mental illness that basically means that I have unwanted thoughts, unwelcome intrusions. Very rude, rude guests who won't leave. I can treat this now with, medication and lifestyle and whatnot, and a lot of cognitive therapy and learning how to just recognize, like, hey, that's not my thought. That's not something I really want to do or really believe. But when you think that God talks to people and that the devil talks to people and tries to trick them into thinking that his voice is God's, okay? So I'm having bad thoughts, sometimes good thoughts, but bad thoughts that I don't know where they're coming from. I'm trying to figure out whether they're from God or Satan, or I'm trying to make a decision, and I pray to God for discernment to just, oh, please God, help me to make this choice, help me to know what the right thing to do is. I want to follow your will. I just want to know, Lord. And I would pray, and maybe you'd even have a sensation or a suggestion, a feeling. Maybe I'd even think that I was hearing them as words in my head. I remember trying to figure out the tone of voice of the words in my head so I could try to figure out whether it was God or Satan. I never really mastered that, but I did drive myself quite a bit crazier than I had to be trying. There is no God talking to you, or Joseph Smith, or the Pope, or my crazy Looney Tunes grandmother. All you have is your thoughts, your brain chemistry, your reactions, dreams, nightmares, mental illness, PTSD, that'll give you some flashbacks. Those are real fun. It's a lot easier to handle this shit when I know that it's just physical. Doesn't make it, fun or easy, but it makes it manageable. When I was thinking that this was spiritual, that there was actually demonic warfare going on inside my body and my brain, that sucked. So I asked the Mormons, I asked them again and again, what about somebody who can't tell? I can't tell if, it's God or the devil or just my own thoughts. I think it's just my own thoughts because there's no evidence that God or the devil exists. And then I just get told that it all comes down to faith. Of course, we all know faith is just believing in things without evidence, and that's not something I'm interested in doing. So I still see no reason to believe. I have no reason to trust your personal revelation, especially since personal revelation leads people to such drastically different conclusions. And it's really dangerous when you think God is the one behind those thoughts. Gives them a lot more weight. Makes people do things they wouldn't otherwise normally do. The Attleboro cult starved a little boy to death by switching him from solid foods to exclusively nursing off of his mother again, who was pregnant at the time and not producing as much milk. She was also malnourished because someone had had a personal revelation, a word from God, that she needed to switch her diet to nothing but almond milk. So over the course of a few months, a little boy starved to death because of a personal revelation from God. And yeah, you can say that that sounds crazy and that they should have known better, but do you have any objective reason why I should believe your personal revelation is from God any more than theirs? Everybody on YouTube, have a great and godless day. Remember, they're just thoughts. You don't have to believe everything you think, and you don't have to believe everything you hear. Peace.